This is Mac OS Ken.
Wall Street waits for Apple's AI play, pictures and voicemail coming back from deletion, and testing both iPad strength and people's patience. It is Friday, the 17th of May, 2024. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by Pen Chalet, selling exquisite fountain pens for over 10 years with special offers for Mac OS Ken listeners at penchalet.com/macosken. This show is also supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macosken. BofA analyst Wamsi Mohan and Wedbush analyst Daniel Ives are both excited about Apple and artificial intelligence. They both wonder with whom Apple will partner for it, and they both think there's money to be made in it. I'm not sure they're sure how exactly, though. I'm naive. I sort of assume that the best AI features will mean more iPhone sales for Apple, that'll make switchers of Android users and really stick people willingly into Apple's ecosystem. I mentioned being naive, right? Apple 3.0 had BofA's Mohan eyeing WWDC with keen interest. Looking forward to the conference, Mohan says the key questions are, will Apple pick OpenAI or Google for cloud-based AI, or both? How will the economics work between the companies? And will Apple have to change the economics with Google, either because of the DOJ investigation or because of a new relationship with OpenAI? And what is the monetization model for AI across devices, apps, and subscriptions? Apple 3.0's Philip Elmer DeWitt had an amusing response to that. What is the monetization model, he asks. I don't have a clear picture. Well, Mohan says one of the key questions is, what is the monetization model? So, it doesn't sound like you're alone. Sounding more certain is Wedbush analyst Daniel Ives. A separate piece from Apple 3.0 excerpted a note from him. First, he thinks Apple will go with OpenAI rather than Google for its AI push. According to the analyst, the OpenAI partnership, which we expect to be formally unveiled at WWDC on the 10th of June, will consist of an OpenAI chatbot with exclusive features that build upon one, on-device Apple large language models, or LLMs, and two, cloud-powered Apple LLMs, along with Apple powering AI on its own high-end chips. As for making money, the analyst expects exclusivity around the number of advanced features on iPhone 16 and iOS 18. That sounds like a way to make money on the hardware side. Rolling on from there, Ives says he and his would expect Apple to build out a next-level Siri technology with OpenAI that can do complex tasks for Apple users and more advanced features that will eventually be a separate monthly subscription service along with other AI features. Man, remember when buying a thing meant you could use that thing? They get me. I've gone from naive to curmudgeonly. I've lived a whole life in this story. BofA's Mohan has a buy rating on Apple shares and a price target of $230. Wedbush analyst Ives has an outperform rating on Apple shares and a price target of $250. Remember the story about old, deleted photos coming back from deletion? A piece from iMore says that is reportedly getting way worse. I told you yesterday of posts on Reddit saying that photos deleted as long ago as 2021 were turning up again for some after this week's iOS 17.5 release. While Apple Insider was not able to recreate the issue, it seemed to have no problem believing it was happening, since this was a thing that was apparently happening for or to testers of iOS 17.5's fourth beta. Now, the piece I mentioned from iMore says deleted photos from as far back as 2010 are being resurfaced. And that is not the way worse part. The way worse part, it's reportedly happening on devices that have been sold on to other people. According to iMore, one Reddit user shared that their photos were resurfaced after factory resetting the device and selling it to somebody else. Assuming the story is true, that user was lucky. They sold their iPad to somebody they knew. Quoting their post, "I wiped the iPad using official Apple guides before selling. I never logged into the iPad with my Apple ID after erasing the iPad. I sold my iPad to a friend in September of 2023. They called me today after updating to iPad OS 17.5 and said my old pictures appeared in their Photos app." iMore says other users on Reddit were quick to comment with similar stories, with a handful dating back some time. Do I hear more? I do. Again, from iMore. But it's not pictures this time. A separate piece from the site says some users on Twitter are reporting that their deleted voicemails are reappearing after upgrading their iPhone to iOS 17.5. One specific post explained how the user went from just one unread voicemail before updating and was being shown 26 of them after the software update. Another user reported something similar with over 200 voicemails after the update. While it was willing to run the post, iMore seems a bit more skeptical of this story. The site says the problem was not being discussed on Reddit at the time of writing, nor had any other site picked it up. Just Twitter people, according to the piece. Still, the thing happening with the photos at basically the same time seemed to give the site pause. iMore says you can't help but draw comparisons with a similar issue in iOS 17.5 where users are seeing deleted photos resurface. It appears as if these issues are not connected, but it's unclear exactly what is happening right now, nor do we know how people can fix the issue. As for the picture problem, iMore says that pictures turning up again on devices that have been wiped and not logged back into with the old iCloud account seems to suggest that the bug is related to the devices themselves rather than the iCloud accounts attached. The site reached out to Apple for comment on the issue. As of now, it has not heard back from the Cupertino company. More news in a moment, but first a word from today's sponsor, Pen Chalet, selling exquisite fountain pens for over 10 years. Have you picked out your fountain pen from Pen Chalet yet? I talk a lot about the starter boxes at penchalet.com/macOSken for a couple of reasons. First, I help put them together with Pen Chalet. Second, if I had had the right pen, paper, and ink combination years ago, I'd have been into fountain pens years earlier. They're packaged at a discount and ready for you, but here's the thing. You can start anywhere. If you see something on the Pen Chalet site besides the starter boxes, Pen Chalet's got a deal for you too. Use code MOK10 to get 10% off when you buy something besides a starter box. Now, if you're looking for something special but accessible, for Father's Day maybe, or a graduation, or just something for you, one brand that always gets me is Conklin. There's just something about their styling that's kind of classic. Maybe you go for something more modern looking, something like a Twisby maybe. I personally think there is a fountain pen out there for everybody. See what's out there for you. Go to penchalet.com/macOSken and choose a starter box, or take 10% off any other purchase with code MOK10. That's penchalet.com/macOSken. And a big thanks to Pen Chalet for sponsoring today's show. Apple has taken steps to make the latest iPad Pro super strong, but don't you worry. You can break it if you really, really try. According to a report from iDownload blog, Apple has given the device an extra spine. The piece says Apple head of hardware engineering John Ternus explained in a recent interview that the new iPads are equipped with a new metal cowling that helps dissipate heat and improve durability. This protective cover effectively creates a central rib that runs through the whole thing and tremendously improves the stiffness of the products. While the iDownload blog piece throws a little shade at YouTubers who are buying these things just to bend and break them, the Lord bless and keep William Gallagher over at Apple Insider. He throws a lot of shade at those YouTubers, and in a funny way. Starting with the headline, "World rocked as YouTubers prove you can eventually break an iPad." A few choice passages include, "Can it survive everyday life," says one YouTuber, as he proceeds to put a new M4 iPad Pro through anything but everyday life. "Hit subscribe for more videos like this because they're very expensive," says another YouTuber, going wide-eyed at the cost of his own decision to do this nonsense. Of course, this is all to help us choose the right iPad when we need one to shove under a truck. I seem to remember saying something similar to all of that when somebody bought an Apple Vision Pro to wear while literally hitting their head against a wall. Some children's people, huh? And finally today, if you want to watch something besides people breaking things, there is a new show starting on Apple TV+. The 6-episode drama, The Big Cigar, starts its run today. According to the Cupertino streamer, The Big Cigar is the incredible true story of Hollywood revolution meeting social revolution. It is a wild caper of Black Panther founder Huey P. Newton escaping from the FBI to Cuba with the assistance of famed producer Bert Schneider in an impossibly elaborate plan involving a fake movie production that goes wrong every way it possibly can. And somehow, it's all true. Mostly. The first 2 episodes are up now on Apple TV+. They will play out one per Friday through the 14th of June. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and sponsored by Pen Chalet, selling exquisite fountain pens for over 10 years with special offers for macOS Ken listeners at penchalet.com/macOSKen. This show is also supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSKen. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media. Online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.